Hey guys, so welcome back to yet another episode of Get Corporate Ready. I am your host, Bohlale, Paile, and in this particular video, we'll be tackling yet another critical interview question that you need to make sure that you've prepared for. Now, a lot of times when you go for interviews, one of the key questions that get asked is why you left your previous role. Now, for a lot of you that have not prepared for that, I'll be sharing in this video some tips that are really going to help you be able to just think through some of your reasoning so that you can present forward a more compelling reason. Those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. Get Corporate Ready really is just a platform where I share a lot of information around how you can best prepare yourself for interviews and for transitioning into the world of work. Now, in this particular video, as I've said, we'll be talking more interview related questions. So make sure that you're smashing that subscribe button so that you're never missing an interview question that could potentially land you that ideal job. So guys, one of the key questions that you are bound to be asked in an interview is, why did you leave your previous role, right? Now, a lot of you may shriek at the thought of explaining why you left, which in itself is probably a problem, and you need to learn to unpack what the reasoning is. But it is definitely something that you do need to think about, right? You need to think about how you're going to articulate yourself in terms of why you left your previous role. So make sure that as you answer this question, you are never speaking badly about any particular individual or the company that you've come from. So guys, there are a couple of unavoidable reasons why some people have left their particular roles. And these things you should feel comfortable in being able to say because it's things that you had no control over. Here are some of the things that you can mention if this has actually happened to you. So if you've gotten retrenched, your contract came to an end, the company you're working for subsequently closed down, family or personal reasons that have caused a shift in you having to move from your particular organization. Some of these things are unavoidable. So if any of these things have happened to you, feel comfortable and confident enough to be able to articulate any of these reasons. Now I'm going to be sharing with you some good reasons that you could be using in answering the question why you left your previous role. Firstly, I think one of the key things that I tend to hear a lot when I ask this particular question is around the fact that, well, Bohlale, I've hit a ceiling, right, in my current role. This is what I currently do. The next person in line is my current manager, and unless they leave, it's not a role that I could potentially move into, right? So you feel kind of blocked. You've hit a ceiling in terms of your particular role in the organization, and therefore you are looking for an opportunity to grow, right? So you're looking for an opportunity to get into an organization where you can use your skill set to further yourself in your career. So if hitting a ceiling is one of the reasons, that is a good reason to be using in an interview. Now, one thing you must be cautious about, do not say that you've hit a ceiling and yet you've been at the organization for less than a year, right? I have a lot of people that say to me, well, Bohlale, I've learned everything that I can potentially learn in this organization. And when I ask them, but how long have you been there? And they say, well, I've been there 10 months. Guys, it's not possible to learn absolutely everything you need to know about your role, about the organization in less than a year, right? So watch your reasoning around that. You cannot use this reason if you've been in your role for a very short period of time, because it just shows that you lack a little bit of patience and resilience to see things through and to really put in the time that's needed for you to grow and experience every facet of your particular role, right? But if you've been there at least between 2.5, 3 years onwards, and you're finding that you're feeling stifled and you want to grow to the next level, but your current organization is not providing that, then it's a reason for you to potentially say that, I've hit a ceiling in my particular role. Ideally, I'd love to move from being an administrator to a consultant, and currently there are no job opportunities in my organization to move to that next role, right? So that is how you explain hitting a ceiling and why growth is important to you. The second reason that I think is good for you to be able to use is also just articulating that you'd like to get exposure in a different industry, right? So wherever you come from needs to be different to the industry that you are now applying to and that you are now interviewing to for you to use this particular reason. Now, why this is potentially a good reason for you to be using is that you're showing that you are looking to diversify your experience, right? So you don't want to just stay in a banking industry if maybe that's where you've been for the longest time. You're looking to experience a different industry because you know that it's going to push you, it's going to challenge you to think differently, and it's going to allow you to face a different set of challenges to what you are used to, right? So it really does hold some weight if you're speaking about a different industry, because it does say that you are someone that's looking to grow within your career and in your profession, but across different industries, because you understand that different industries bring about different challenges and different ways of thinking. And lastly, one of the key reasons that you could use for why you're leaving your previous role is really just to say that you're wanting to develop a particular skill set that you've identified in this particular role that you've applied for. Sometimes your role could vary depending on the size of the company, the type of industry that you are in, the level of exposure that you're potentially going to get. So if you are using this as a reason to say, this is the type of skill set that I've developed over time. What I loved about this particular role that I'm coming into is that it's going to allow me to develop in these particular skill sets, which is going to help me be a more well-rounded HR professional or IT professional, whatever the case may be, right? So you could use skill set as a reason why you are leaving your current role, to say that the role that you've applied for and why you found that interesting is because it's going to allow you to develop a particular skill set that you think you need to be a well-rounded professional. Guys, those are some of the key things that I think are important. Like I said, there's reasons that are unavoidable, so please feel comfortable to expand and explain on some of those reasonings, and it doesn't reflect badly on you because it's something outside of your control. But for things that are in your control, make sure that you've thought through some of the three key aspects that I spoke about in terms of growth, hitting a ceiling, change of industry, and developing of a particular skill set. Those are some of the reasons that you could definitely use to say why you're leaving your current role and looking for the next one. I hope that you found this very valuable, and if you have, please make sure you're smashing that like button and subscribing to this channel so that you're not missing the next video where I share a lot more insight around how to navigate other interview questions.